This is the opening bout of the main card, and this is a fun one, bro. This is a fun one. You got Grant Dawson, who now, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, fights at the newly minted Kill Cliff FC gym over there in Florida, man. Formerly Sanford MMA, now Kill Cliff. And he's fighting a Olympic silver medalist, Mark O. Madsen. The Mark O. Madsen. You know what I'm saying? This is going to be a fun fight in the lightweight division, bro, because Mark Madsen is a madman who happens to be undefeated, man. 12-0. 12-0. A lot of people probably wouldn't even think that. They'd probably be like, oh, yeah, this Mark Madsen guy. He did say, hey, man, I need a little bit of urgency. I need to get some fights in. Come on, man. The clock is ticking. My man is a healthy 38 years old. Lord, Mark Madsen versus a young up-and-coming Grant Dawson, who's still up-and-coming, 28, 10-year age difference right here. But Marco Madsen, man, if the remnants of a man who's hungry to taste some type of championship level, a lot of miles on the body. But then again, man, this is a winnable fight against a Grant Dawson. My question to you here, AJ, is that we can get so excited and we could talk this entire time about who's the better grappler and who's more fundamental and what style of grappling is going to reign supreme. But oftentimes, when we get two fantastic grapplers matched up, we end up seeing a kind of low-ish level kickboxing fight. Do you think that's what we're going to be seeing in this matchup here?
100%, Derek, especially because of the way Marco Madsen and both Grant Dawson really like to fight. I mean, I see one of those fire fights where fire cancels out, or their best fire, cancels out each other's, and then they're now in a dogfight where they're just swinging hands in a phone booth. And if that's the case, Dawson, to me, the power of Dawson makes a lot more sense. Will we be able to see that because Marco Madsen is very much a stubborn, persistent technician in there. No matter what, this is going to be trying to shoot for you. He's going to be trying to dominate his wrestling. And I do think, and I can't remember if Madsen got a silver or bronze in the Olympics, but I do think that's what's driving him so hard right now at 38 years old to be able to get to some gold, to be able to get to a championship material. And that's really why we're seeing this dude really have a, not so much of a resurgence or a push to stardom, if you will. He's kind of a low, not a low level fighter, but a low attention fighter. Not got a lot of clout to his name. It could be the fighting style. It could be the fact that, he just doesn't really talk a lot, but he is a very hard fight style to fight against, if you will. Now, the nice thing is Grant Dawson knows how to fight against that one because like you're saying, Derek, that wrestling is going to cancel each other out. Do you think we're going to see, like you said, a low-level kickboxing match where we're seeing technique, or are we just going to see a slugfest because there's nothing else we can do?
Well, I'm going to just give you a little bit of information, right? Put some respect on the Olympian, Marco Madsen, silver medal in the 2016 Summer Olympics, okay? Greco-Roman silver Olympic medalist right there, champion, right? Champion, but you know what I mean. Olympics, brother, that's world-renowned right there. And I do think we're going to see a low-ish level kickboxing match, but I do think the takedowns are still going to be sprinkled in there because if you were a Marco Madsen, you almost have it ingrained in your DNA, you have to get the takedown. And if you're Grant Dawson, you're such a high-level grappler that there would be nothing else you want to notch underneath your belt than being able to take down and dominate a silver Olympic medalist fucking Greco-Roman grappler, brother. You tell me, though, man. Fight ends up against the cage. They're clinched up. Who has the upper hand right there? I would argue it's Marco Madsen. Greco-Roman wrestling right there. You can't touch the legs. Your grappling is literally built for cage wrestling right here in MMA. Grant Dawson, on the other hand, he could literally just pick you up and slam you on your head. You know what I mean? Like, Grant Dawson doesn't give a damn. Then again, look at that draw that Grant Dawson had against Ricky Glenn. We know that Grant Dawson likes to start strong. Come round 3, what are we looking like? Marco Madsen, same situation, though. Come round 3, what are we looking like? Who's going to will it out in this fight, AJ?
Ooh, I think it's Dawson, but I mean, Madsen, that's the thing. They both can will this one out all day long. And to answer your first question, if this match is against the cage, who's going to get the better of it's funny because I'm thinking both people, right? You get Madsen against the fence, Grant Dawson pressuring. I could see Dawson getting some hips, getting a takedown, working for a takedown. Now you switch it around. Madsen pressuring against Dawson against the cage. That's what Greco-Roman's made for, man. Chest to chest. You're sitting there, you're getting those takedowns, and once Madsen gets his hands locked, it's basically game over. Now, man, if this one, if we're talking, you're both fighters against the cage, and they're jockeying for position. They're both throwing underhooks and rotating each other. I think Dawson gets the best out of that one strictly because of the power. What do you think?
I think Dawson, never mind power, technicality, that's not it. His technique, trips, man. I think he's got very underrated trips. I think he's got a very underrated sweep game, trip game, ability to just get you to the ground without just having to pure outmuscle you. It's funny, man, because like I said, we could talk the entire time about this and watch the fight, and there could be 0 takedown attempts. Like, honestly, it could be that way. So that's why I don't even want to put too much stock into that. In terms of grappling, I do think Dawson probably is a little bit of a sharper striker, than a Marco Madsen. But Marco Madsen's pretty sharp too, got big power. Both these dudes got power. At the end of the day, in my mind, I don't see minus 220 Grand Dawson plus 180 Madsen. I see pick'em. I see minus 105, minus 105. Like, I see straight pick'em right here. I'm going to edge out the silver Olympic medalist because honestly, AJ, this is the last hope for this man. Back against the wall. Families had health issues. You're doing this for your people. Grant Dawson, on the other hand, this is a chip on his shoulder. You want to prove that you're the best. Marco Madsen, I just think his why is a little deeper, a little stronger, and a little more powerful. And I know that has nothing to do with the analytics or the X's and O's of a fist fight. But at the end of the day, man, I think that goes into it, and whoever has the bigger heart wins. I like Marco Madsen. Give me the decision victory right here, plus 225. I know I have a decision-riddled card over here in terms of my results. But at the end of the day, man, over and under is 2.5 rounds. And the odds makers like the over, so I'm going to take that. Clearly, you like Dawson. How does it get it done, AJ?
Yeah, Derek, this is one of those ones, like you said, the why may not be on the paper for as like, going into the analytics right here. But when you're faced with one of the hardest challenges of your life, you're gasping for air in those, last 12 to 15 minutes. That's when your why comes into matter. And that's kind of what worries me with this fight. Personally, I had the hardest time choosing between Madsen and Dawson. I'm sitting here back and forth, seeing how this fight can go a multitude of ways. I agree with you. This one's a pick 'em. This one's a stay away for me. But I like Grant Dawson, and I'm so this is a hard one too because I'm debating. Imagine Grant Dawson is able to get the takedown, get a plus 375 submission on Marco Madsen. That's just writing home. That's story time. I think it's going to be a decision, though. I'm rocking with this. As much as I want that submission, I'm rocking with the decision. I'm rocking with the odds makers, going with the over. But man, that'd be something to write home to. I also going back to what you were saying with the why. This is Marco Madsen's last chance to finally taste some gold. You know how bitter that silver must taste. As much as you're saying, no disrespect, because that is the upper echelon. You are the top, the most elite of elite wrestlers. But don't you want some gold around your waist? Then you're over there with triple cringe. Man, this one's a hard fight, folks. This is gonna be a fun one. I see why they're opening the card this night.
Absolutely. And I'm not going to lie, man. If you look at Grant Dawson and you look at the last couple of wins, you got the Jared Gordon. That was a fantastic victory. Very surprising to see him choke him out in that third round, man. He just put it on him, honestly. Draw against Ricky Glenn. That last second buzzer beater win against Leo Santos. And then you got the Derek Minner win. You got the Julian Erosa, Mike Trezano. You got some good wins, right? Marco Madsen, though, man. If we're talking about someone submitting him, well, you just decisioned Vince Pichel, Clay Guida, Austin Hubbard. I mean, brother, that's not an easy task. And a lot of people, Vince Pichel as well, would probably argue, no, I won the fight. I mean, listen, man, Marco Madsen, if you can get past those guys, I think you might be able to get past the Grant Dawson. Those are the picks right there for you folks.